Hi everyone. We are live. I don't know where we're live. Because by mistake this was scheduled at 4 o'clock today, but it is actually 6. So hopefully Stanislava can share it in the Facebook groups. So we're aware that we might not have anyone jump on and ask us any questions, but obviously please do watch it on replay and please obviously comment underneath if you've watched it, what you think of it. If it resonates with you, if we can help you, if you've got any questions, and obviously just comment under the video once it's shared across, because I'm not too sure where we are live. Might be YouTube.
Yeah, because it normally comes up you're live, but it hasn't.
It says view on YouTube, so it is on YouTube. So Stanislav will probably be able to share it from YouTube into the Facebook groups, but obviously then it won't be live. You'll be obviously watching it on replay. So just if you've got any questions, obviously we will get back to you. So I'm really sorry about the error, and if people were expecting us at 4 o'clock, but we was both, well, I was working, Nicki wasn't, I was still at school. Actually, I wasn't, I was on my way home, but I had the dentist at 4:30, so I wasn't able to do a live at 4 o'clock. So anyway, obviously today we're talking about the importance of healthy relationships and social networking. So we obviously know, being in business, that we go to various events and we network with different people, and we network a lot online, don't we? And we make connections and we meet people online that we've never even met in person, and then sometimes it feels like you've known them for like years and you have met them in person and you kind of forget that. And it's really, and I think obviously it's online such a big part of our networking as business, but I think it's become a lot more since obviously the last kind of couple of years. I'm losing track. I feel like I didn't even know it was 2021 earlier, and I'm like, oh my god, we're like nearly at the end of it. You know, when you're like freeze right in the day. So obviously the last couple of years have just been a big blur for a lot of us. But we would have adapted and we would have taken to more so like networking on social media, and perhaps some of the network events you might have gone to, you might have found they adapted and were online as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to pass you over to Nicki, and then obviously we're both going to kind of input about relationships and the importance of it.
Okay, so as Christine said, we're going to talk about interactions and relationships. And we all know that our relationships that we have, the interactions we have in all of our life, makes a difference in our personal life, and therefore it will impact on our business life as well. And if anything, this talk might not, even though it is related to business, it's related in all areas of our relationships. So it might give you, if nothing else, just some food for thought in the relationships that you have in your life at the moment. And like we say, that it impact your business as well. So when we think about life for us, it starts with the foundations that we have with the relationships with not only ourselves, but with others as well. And looking at different types of relations that we have, you see the different dynamics of the connection and the trust that we form with others. And human connection is our basic need in life, and we all, every single one of us, strive for love and connection. So we start to form relationships from a really early age that evolve throughout our life. And as children, we need to be surrounded by positive role models, as these will be influential for the rest of our life. So let's have a look at family relationships. So it begins with a child's connection to their caregiver, and the caregiver provides warmth and safety, hope, knowledge that their child's needs will be met. Can't say it. Their child's needs will be met constantly. So with their needs being met constantly, they quickly learn to understand that they will be loved, they will be looked after, they will be heard, they will be seen, they will be listened to, and they trust in their environment and the relationships around them that are formed. And as we go on, by about the age of 2, the connection extends to the infant's father, and then the connection grows and extends to different members of the child's family as they grow multiple bonds. So children are born into this world with no preconceived ideas. They have carefree relationships. They have to learn to trust. They have to learn to be seen and be heard, and they learn this from their environment as well as their caregivers and the people that are around them. And they learn this by what they experience and what they see and what they hear. And the importance of any relationship is the loving connection that you form from a trustworthy relationship that you form very early on, just like we do in business, is exactly the same. Any first relationships that we meet in business, whether it be clients, whether it be team members, whether it be just acquaintances, we had that. Maybe the love doesn't come because it's not a infant child or a loving relationship, but it still comes down to trust as well. So we're always looking for them trusting relationships. So other key relationships that we have in our life are friendships, and we connect with friends that have people that have similar stories to us. They have similar dislikes, similar interests, and throughout life friendships change, as we know. And it's interesting to see, like, when we have children, or you have nieces or nephews, whatever, it's interesting to see how their friendships change throughout their life. And it's normal part of development that we fall in and out of relationships, and especially as children, because they're trying to find out and learn dynamics and boundaries for themselves. So this can be tough for children at this stage of time, because they're trying to navigate their way through various experiences. And as we get older, again, we start to form different relationships, and we're aware of different connections. So we're starting to form stable relationships with others, and we start to realise as we get older that friendships are about quality rather than quantity. Wouldn't you agree with that, Christine?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that um hi Stanislava, I think that naturally you feel that connection, don't you? And I think in business, you, or like when you work with a mentor like us, we know that you build that connection and that rapport as therapists with the children that we work with, or adults that we work with, and the same with like coaches. You have to build that connection and that rapport and that trust for the work to continue. So it is really important in business. And I think that over the years, like I've learned a lot around relationships, and the relationships that I want and the relationships that I need and that I value. And like Nicki said, it's not the quality, it's not the quantity of friends, sorry, it's the quality of friends. And it's so important. Like I think that you don't realize now, like you hear, like, like children are like it as well, like, that you hear, like from myself being in school, obviously Nicki works in school as well, like children that say like, oh, so and so don't like me anymore. Or you hear it amongst like your friends and maybe their children or whatever. You hear of this happening, like children saying, oh, so and so don't want to be friends with me anymore. And I think that, like, yes, obviously, when you're younger, you carry them friendships on with you throughout life, but sometimes that's not the case, and you make new friendships, you lose friendship, but do you know what I mean? It's never kind of like the same, and that's something that I've like really experienced. And I think one thing for myself, and this comes down to even that kind of loving relationship with like a male, that I was always attracting the wrong people. And I realized that I never really valued myself and loved myself. So it's that relationship with yourself as well that's really important, because if you don't love and connect and value yourself, it's going to impact you with your limiting beliefs and how you can show up in business, and you're not going to feel worthy enough because you're not accepting yourself and your capabilities. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and if you've got anything to add around self-love.
I think from my perspective, I was happy to go along with all relationships and to go along with what people wanted. So I was the like the the definition of a people pleaser. I always have been, even from when I was little, up until probably I am still a bit of a people pleaser, but no way as much as I was years ago. And I felt a bit like you, Christine. I saw the value in myself and learned to love myself. So therefore, I was attracting all the people that I felt that I needed to please in my life and do things for, because I wanted to be liked by external people instead of loving myself. So over the time, my friendships and relationships have really, really changed. And like we were saying, like you mentioned about relationships as well, in a romantic relationship, I think this changed for me as well, because I was attracting people that I needed in my life. And when my husband left me after having an affair, I then was attracting all the wrong people into my life. And I began to realise that I had to learn to love myself first. So exactly like Christine went on a journey of being able to do personal development and self-development. And as I grew as a person, my relationships changed. And like we've said, it's not about the quality, it's about the quantity. And
The other way around.
the
It's not about the quantity,
quality,
it's about the quality.
that's the one. Yeah. It is, because I used to have quite a lot of friends, and I remember one of my friends who I don't speak to anymore. She used to say to me, "You've got so many friends, Nicki. You've got so many people that you can phone up or go out with and speak to." And you know what, I really did. I agreed. I had so many different groups of friends, but what I found is that I was the pleaser in all of their relationships, and I didn't really voice anything what I really meant, like my true self, because I was scared of upsetting people. So now that's changed, and now, to be fair, I have not got a wide circle of friendships at all, and we often talk about this, don't we, Christine? So it's definitely the quality of the friendships you have more than the quantity of friendships.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, going back to kind of like self-worth and self-love, I think when you obviously don't, like, when you're not worthy of yourself, you've not, that self-love's not there, that's when you're gonna attract obviously the wrong people, like we mentioned. But they're gonna be the wrong people because they don't value you. So it's gonna be the same with like clients,
Yeah.
like anyone that you work with in business, anyone that you network with in business, relationships in general, friends, family, and partner. Do you know what I mean? It's all relationships, and this is why it's such a important part of your personal life, business, and your well-being. It's really, really important.
Yeah, definitely. I think we don't look at it. We think that we're in business together. We hear like the amount of groups that I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs are in, and we hear about social networks and the importance of it. But I don't just think it's social networks. It's about who's in our life, in our personal life, who's in our life as friends, who's in our life as, like, obviously we can't change family, but what do all of these relationships bring to you? Are they all negative relationships? Do they trigger you? Do they bring you down? Um, do they zap you of energy? Because all of these relationships that we have are going to impact on your business. When you feel zapped, drained, negative about yourself because of somebody else, then that's going to have a massive impact on your business. And it's not about just what someone else brings to you, because don't forget, as me and Christine always say, it's not about blaming other people, it's thinking about you. What are you? Because we can only change ourselves, we can't change other people. So if you settle for somebody talking to you in the way that they're talking to you, or treating you the way they're treating you, or you've got a lack of boundaries in your client relationships, or in your personal relationships, or your romantic relationships, then that's going to impact your business as well. So it's
It's going to have
important.
like a ripple effect, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely has a ripple effect. So obviously relationships are so impactful, and they're also our circle of life. it's true that you have to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince, maybe, or not. Maybe you're lucky enough to find it the first way round. Maybe you're lucky enough to have the same circle of friends that you've had since you was at school or secondary school or in your first job. Maybe you've got the same clients that you've had all the way through when you started your business. Maybe you've attracted some really good clients, and maybe you've attracted some good team members as well, and that's amazing. But remember, we have to start thinking about what we are accepting in our relationships. So there's no question that the people in our relationships make who we are as well. We have to be really mindful about who we have in our life, and it takes not even hard work, but it takes time and commitment to form healthy relationships, and any relationship that we have, that means. And sometimes we might feel that we feel lonely and we're scared of letting some people go. And I know I did. I was scared of letting people go out of my life because then I felt lonely and I was afraid of the unknown. And these people that I'm not friends with anymore were part of my life for a very long time, and we'd gone through so many experiences together. But at the same time, we can't hold on to things and people that are not bringing some sort of joy and I suppose good energy. And relationship is a two-way thing, isn't it? And if the one person's doing all the work and the other person isn't, then it's time to start looking at relationships as well, because we learn so much in all of our relationships, and sometimes we do grow apart from each other, don't we? And sometimes we don't. We grow together and sometimes we grow apart. But everyone's life is different, everyone's energy is different, and everyone's experience is different. So what I'm thinking about some of my friends that I don't speak to, they would be thinking something completely different. And there's two ways we can do it. We can either confront it kindly and respectfully, which I have on both occasions, and then we need to learn. Then if the relationships doesn't come together again, then we need to learn to let go of them as well. Have you had experiences of that as well, Christine, where you've had to let go of relationships because they didn't serve you? Like clients, I've had that with clients as well. Have you had that experience?
Yeah, I have. It's not been like a clear kind of like gonna say declutter them, that's not the right word, but like kind of letting go and moving on. But I have kind of like distanced myself from certain people, and I realized that they're not the ones that I want to kind of put a lot of energy into. There's other things that I'd be doing, like, do you know what I mean, or other people that I'd rather be with than. Does that make sense? So
It's a choice, I suppose, isn't it? It's a choice. If we know people are draining us or not being kind to us or not being respectful to us, then I suppose we've got a choice what we do with that. We can either confront them, like we're saying, kindly and compassionately, or we can learn to let them go, can't we? It's our choice what to do. Same, it's their choice if they want to do that as well, isn't it? So obviously all the relationships we've had, me and Christine, have always said they have a knock-on effect in your business. So it's basically the energy, the exchange of energy between two people or a team of people. And social networks, as Christine said, definitely helps us in business, but because we want to find like-minded people that inspire us and support us. And sometimes when we go into lots and lots of groups, I'm sure a lot of you are in lots and lots of groups, as me and Christine are, but sometimes these groups don't help you because they make you feel so overwhelmed and that not good enough feeling, because you see that other entrepreneurs and business owners are doing or being a lot more successful than you are. It's these types of things that we want people to inspire us. We join these groups, we join entrepreneurs, we join business people, because the whole point is we want to feel inspired by this relationship. We want to feel alive by the relationships that we make, whether online or offline. But when they start making us feel not good enough and we start feeling overwhelmed by it, then it's a time we need to start looking at ourselves and think, is this relationship, whether it's face to face, in a group, offline, wherever, is this relationship good for us anymore? And maybe it is about parking a relationship for a while and leaving it and then coming back to it another time, because maybe it's just sometimes you need a break, don't you? And I also think, I don't know if you agree, Christine, but sometimes when you have a relationship, and we've done it in groups as well, haven't we? So we're talking about relationship as the whole now, whether it's personally, business, groups, online, offline, children, whatever it is, that sometimes taking a break from something and leaving the group or not speaking to a friend for a while or distancing yourself from somebody, that when you have that time away from that person, that group, whatever it is, when you come back to it, in that time you've evolved as a person more, and when you come back to it, it doesn't seem as negative and draining your energy as what it did first of all. Do you feel that as well, Christine?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I've done that, been out of a group and been out of friendships and then come back to them. And the energy is so different because you've had time apart, and both of you, or the group of you, whatever it is, have had time to, I suppose, maybe heal wounds, your own wounds normally. um, so when you come back together again or in the group, you're not triggered by certain people, or you don't get that sense of I'm not good enough, or I feel overwhelmed in this energy with this person, this group. So say sometimes taking time apart really does help, and sometimes it helps mend the relationship as well. So I suppose that's just being self-aware and thinking, do I need time away from this as well? So obviously, forming impactful relationships helps us to evolve. We learn from others in life, and we can be empowered to create change where we want it and move forward in any area of our life. And obviously, as entrepreneurs and business owners, this is what we want. We want the relationships in our life to be meaningful, impactful, inspiring. We want people to be our cheerleaders, whether that's in social network groups, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's clients, whether that's teams. Every relationship we have is part of our energy, and we have to protect our energy and do what's right for us, especially as business owners, because if it's not right there, it's going to affect the whole part of our life, and vice versa. If things are not right in our relationships, they're not going to be right in business. So it has that knock-on effect, a ripple effect, as Christine says. Do you
Yeah,
need to add
definitely.
anything else or not, Christine?
No, not that I can think of. I think we've hit in the now, really hit on the now. Is that the right saying?
Hit the nail on the head.
That's the one. About relationships and the importance of it. Stanislava, obviously we've not got any view. I don't know if people can view this from YouTube, but obviously Stanislava is viewing it. But she said that she was talking about this topic around kind of the importance of friends and the kind of like quantity over like quality over quantity, etc. And with a friend today. So
Ah,
interesting that,
that's
yeah.
interesting, isn't it? Great minds. See what we're attracting, Stanislava? We're attracting the same things, aren't we? Our same talks.
So yeah, it is really important. Obviously, we can't put it out there if anyone's got any questions, but obviously, like we said at the beginning, if you do and you watch this on replay, and it's shared in the Facebook groups, if you've got any questions, then please reach out. But obviously, everything that we talk about is really important to your well-being, and the relationships that you're around and the energy and everything is all part of your well-being, and that's why it's an important area to talk about. Personally, business, and for your well-being. So yeah, I don't. Is there anything else that you want to add, or?
Like you said, I think that's really important that you said there, Christine, because it all comes back to everything we talk about comes back to well-being and our own mental well-being, our mental health, because actually that has our relationships in any area of our life impacts our mental well-being, doesn't it? And
Yeah,
if they're not okay, then we're not okay as well. So it it's all about being aware of it ourselves and choosing wisely.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you for joining us, Stanislava, and watching. Hopefully you can share that from YouTube into the Facebook groups. And I think we're live. Is it next Thursday? I think it's next Thursday, and the 23rd, if that's next Thursday. So yeah, we'll see you all then. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.